Welcome to the Palace of Megapixels. This is Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo.
Hello everyone and welcome to Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo. I'm your host Stephen White and with me is Todd Stark.
Hello.
And John Taylor.
What's up?
We're going to get into the news, see what's going down in the breakdown. Guys, is there any big news happening right now?
It was kind of a slow week for news.
It is after E3, so I guess that's it's expected. What about the news story that what was his name, Sean Layton?
Sean Layton
made mention of a PS5 not in the near future, but eventually.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen is they're going to wait and see what the Xbox One X does. Mm-hmm. If it starts killing it, I think they'll push that forward. I think, but it doesn't need to come out. They just released the PS4 Pro. You know,
I honestly feel like these consoles, they have a life cycle much larger than previous consoles, so I feel like everything's fine right now as it is, so they need to just allow it to run its course until you can bring something to the table that's new, other than just updated graphics, more speed. Just let this console cycle be, because I think these consoles are fine as they are now, with the exception of Nintendo maybe needing to pick up their game, but that's a whole nother story. I mean, what they're doing is innovative in regards to the traveling console, but power-wise,
you know, they've always been like one step behind on the power,
but always one step ahead when it comes to innovation.
Yes.
Take a look at the Wii, what they did with that. They ushered in, I guess, a new era of gaming with motion controls, because PlayStation followed suit. Even Microsoft followed suit with the Kinect. Mm-hmm. It happened.
Thanks for that.
Yeah. So I'll give them credit, at least where that's due. Their innovation can spur on a moment to get people to say, hey, I want to be on board with this, and everybody kind of takes notice.
I still feel the Wii was just really gimmicky at the beginning.
It was, but that's not to say. But that's not to say there weren't a few games out there that were worth having.
Right.
So
that was the Wii Sports was awesome.
Oh yeah, everybody could jump on that anytime.
Yeah. Probably still play it right now.
Yeah,
still
absolutely.
Fun.
Tennis, I'm still the champion. It was fun. It worked. But after that, everybody started just getting that shovelware crap. They were just loading it down. It's almost like they didn't care what came out.
Yeah.
A lot of it was crap.
Yeah,
should have boosted out a better console to go with it. Something more power.
Yeah, that's what I always
whatever
thought.
they use, because it was not
Why can't
great.
why can't they be innovative and have power? I mean, I really think that would be great. They would probably be king of the hill then, I think.
Oh yeah. If they could stop worrying about, and I understand from a business perspective they're worried about putting in too much that's going to cost the consumer. But you have gamers out there who would pay for that. They would pay for that innovation, they would pay for that power. They would do it.
Right.
If they knew it was going to be worth their time and effort and money to do so.
Yeah.
But they underestimate their audience, I believe.
Yeah,
I was hardcore Nintendo for the longest time, and I would have done, if they would have given me that console and said it's $5.99, I probably would have put the money down, because I trusted them so much.
Well, if they had all the power plus innovation, it'd probably be worth $5.99.
Yeah. Yeah, a $5.99 Switch console that could be equal to, if not better than, a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One X, and I could take it with me.
Yeah.
Sign me up. I'm out.
Say it's like the Pro or similar to the Pro, that powerful.
Yeah.
And you can take it with you. Shoot, I'm sold.
Yeah, you never have to tell me again.
Yeah, I mean, you got your and you know their problem too is I wish they would grow up a little. It seems like they're starting to do that, but it's slow.
And certain things don't need to.
No, you're right.
But So there are certain franchises that would benefit from that greatly.
Yes. Metroid it needs to be a mature title. I would really feel like it would just benefit that.
I would even say hard teen.
Well, that's fine.
Would be fine
grittier
too for that. Yeah.
I guess
Imagine
that's what I should say.
Metroid and Doom, like a Doom style Metroid.
Yeah, God, that would work so
That
good.
would be awesome.
Yeah, I would buy it. I would buy just to play that.
Any other news?
It's a dry week. I've looked for 2 straight days for just some kind of headline that's worth talking about. There is nothing right now.
Well, I know right now Steam. I would probably say everybody's got a sale going on, but Steam's got a big sale going on, up to 80-90% off of games.
PSN flash sale. There's some really good games on there.
And the worst part about it is I bought all of them.
Yeah. There's one I bet you haven't bought that you should get.
Which is?
And you should take note of this too, Johnny. Deadlight.
Deadlight. I did see it on there, but no, I have not.
It's like $4.89, and it is worth. I'm buying it. I played it on Xbox 360. Loved it. It's a really good game.
I might have to look into that because I was hoping to jump on to a sale, but I just nothing was catching my eye at the moment. What about the rumors of the SNES Classic possibly surfacing up on GameStop servers?
My generation would definitely buy that.
I would buy it, but they're going to do it exactly like they did the NES Classic and screw it up.
Their problem there is that they took it off the market,
right?
Almost to say kind of what Disney does with their movies.
Yeah, they put it in the vault.
Say, we're going to release it out of the vault for 2 seconds, and then no, if you don't get it, you're screwed. And that's a marketing ploy to get you to buy it. Yeah, I mean, if you really want it, you're going to buy it. So. Right. That's what they did. They pulled to Disney and saying, if you want this, you're going to have to buy it. Otherwise, it's just going to be gone. You're going to have to pay double, triple what it's worth on, eBay.
But at least you can go to the store and get that movie.
Yeah.
Okay, Nintendo made, 30 NES classics? You couldn't find it anywhere. It was gone within 3 minutes when it came into GameStop.
Everybody sold out. The minute it hit the store shelf,
Yeah,
Amazon, everybody just
and
gone.
that goes to show the power that Nintendo has. People snatch that up. Amiibos, which I thought was the most ridiculous thing in the world, they sell out all the time.
Don't tell a little kid that.
Well, it's not even that. It's people like our age, almost 40, 35 to 40, that remember the NES days back when that's what turned them on to video games, and they still love Nintendo like you do. Mm-hmm. And they go and buy these things.
One thing about that NES Classic, I will say that I don't feel like there were enough decent games in there to make me want to go out and buy it. That I could not, I'm not condoning this, emulate.
Yeah, well, I have all those games pretty much just sitting on the shelf.
But I've purchased a lot of them as it was, like all the Super Mario Brothers games. Yeah. I think there were a handful of others that were, I don't even remember what the list was, but I know there were a lot of simple games like Ice Climbers and Balloon Fight, and they're fun for a moment, but it's not enough for me to plop down $50 for 30 games that I'm only going to play half or less of. That's why I didn't get into it. And I'm curious to see what their game lineup would be on the SNES Classic, because there were a lot of great games for that, but I don't know if it would be worth having.
Well,
same deal.
If Zelda 3 is not on there, I'm not buying it.
Yeah, Link to the Past, Super Mario World has to be on there.
Yeah.
ActRaiser would be a good one, but I don't know if they would actually have the rights to it.
Do you think they would still add 30 games to it, or would it be like less?
Well, that was Capcom. Was that Capcom?
I think it was
Konami.
It was Enix before they were purchased by Square.
Yeah. Well, they would definitely be in for that then.
Yeah.
Letting them do it.
Yeah, if they would.
That'd be moneymaker for them.
I don't know what else. I'm trying to think of actual Nintendo games that they had.
Super Punch Out.
Star Fox.
That would be great.
One. I actually might. Yeah, that would. I know the graphics are very dated now, but I think it would be kind of fun to go back
just
Donkey Kong.
and listening. Yeah, Donkey Kong Country. That would be all 3 of those.
Yeah.
Well, just the first 2. Third one was not that great.
Was that Tropical
But
Freeze?
that would add up to their 30 games.
Would they use 30 games?
I think so. I think they would try to match up what they did with the other and just say, here, there's 30 games.
And for the love of God, make the controller wireless.
Yes.
Jesus, they give you a 3-foot long cord for the NES Classic.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah, that
It was
was kinda
stupid.
dumb.
And then, but you can buy the dongle and you can buy a whole new wireless controller.
And that's Nintendo at their
Yeah,
finest.
yeah.
Always extra peripherals to make things happen.
And if it ain't Nintendo, it's like, hey, we'll give you the license to this other group and they can make it.
Mm-hmm. So that's what they're good at. That's how they make their money.
Sharing the
You take a
wealth.
look at all the garbage peripherals that they had. And I know we've discussed that before, but I even thought of a few others. Rumble packs for the
Yeah.
N64.
Those
The
are so stupid.
Game Boy Advance dongle that you plug into your GameCube, and then you can have. It was ridiculous. I don't even remember what it was for.
What about the Game Boy, the original Game Boy? It fit over the top of it, and it had the magnifying
Oh,
glass
yeah.
screen, then the speakers that folded out on the side. I had that garbage.
There was even
terrible.
I think it was for what was it? Is it the N64? It was one of the later consoles, but it was an attachment for the for your Game Boy where you could play it on TV. So,
Yeah.
so you plug it up and then you play it on. It was for a Super Nintendo. That's what it
Yeah,
was.
they had like a cartridge. It was like a cartridge you put in the Super Nintendo, and then you put the Game Boy game in
Yeah,
there.
I remember that.
All right, what else we got?
Just looking around, I see that they're fixing to have the solo release, or Activision is, for Modern Warfare Remastered. And if you want to be able to play the solo release of this remastered game, you have to have Infinite Warfare's disc, which makes no sense to me. If you're buying a standalone solo release, why would you still have to have the newest game? You know what I mean? Like,
Are you still going to have to pay full price? I think that would be my first question.
well, I mean, if you don't have it, then yeah, unless you can find it used.
So yeah,
Didn't they combine them together?
They did. See, when I got Infinite Warfare, I got a download code for the remastered game. Okay, so that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yeah, if I have to have the disc in to play it, I understand that. I got that for free with it. But if you're going to have a solo release, then why would I have to still have the disc?
right.
for
That
the
does kind of seem
other
kind of
game.
productive.
It's a money grab.
That doesn't even make sense. Why? Why?
Yeah, you're paying for it twice. It would seem like you already have it, and if you want to buy it, then you can. But I don't know.
If you already have it and you didn't get the day one edition or whatever, whichever one came with the Infinite Warfare Remastered, that's okay. If you want that game and you go pay whatever amount of money it is and you get it, okay, that's fine because you still have Infinite Warfare. What if you don't have Infinite Warfare? That is when I see a problem,
Yeah.
because then you
yeah.
have to buy that game also, and it's just that's another topic for another day of what's wrong with the game industry or certain companies. Not every company is like that. There are some companies that just adopt their game like it's their own child, and they take care of it, nurture it, and they're not out to get you. They give a lot of stuff away for free. I mean, Friday the 13th is a perfect example of a developer trying to take care of its fan base for something they felt they might have messed up, or maybe they didn't mess up, they just didn't catch it. But at the same time, some things you won't know are tore up until it comes out.
Right.
If it's an online game, you can't expect everything to work.
Yeah.
But they still took care of everybody. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
we got a
yeah,
pretty
they
good
did.
little package for
And
buying that game.
All right, we can get into that if we here in a moment.
Yeah.
Any other news before we move on?
Nah, like I said, it's post E3, everything was talked about last week, and it's just opinion pieces, and I don't like opinion pieces. I need facts.
I saw something on here a while ago. It said that you could do crossplay with every Xbox console. No, like LAN parties with every Xbox console.
Yeah. Like you could chat with them and play with them.
Yeah. How's that? I guess that's a weird one. If you want to do like our Xbox original, so you only have Xbox original game or console, Xbox 360 and the Xbox One. If you have Xbox 360, you can't do Xbox original console, but Xbox One and One X.
I don't know.
That's weird. I mean,
Maybe
I guess it kind of works, but it's kind of weird.
Maybe they're just trying to sell a lot of the original Xbox consoles.
Does anybody still make those?
I don't know.
think so.
GameStop's probably got a few used ones.
Oh, I bet they do. No, I bet they don't anymore. I bet they trashed them when the 360 came out.
No, what happened is GameStop is behind all of this.
Right.
All of this money grab stuff is just a ploy for GameStop to sell a lot of their used stuff. They got a big inventory.
I wonder how much
Wouldn't surprise
Xbox
me
or, I wonder how much GameStop owns these other consoles, developers and stuff. I don't know how much stock
I
they
don't
got.
know.
in
They're
it.
like Littlefinger from Game of Thrones. You know, they're going to come down to it. They're behind everything.
Game of Thrones.
Everything.
Yeah, everything. But there's not a whole lot of news.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's a slow news week because of E3, and that's fair enough. We'll move on to reviews. I'm going to review Friday the 13th. Neither one of you have actually played
I
it,
haven't.
You're
correct?
talking about the new one, right? Not the very original.
No. We're talking about
played the
the
NES
brand
game.
new from Ilphonic and Gun Media.
That looks pretty fun.
I want to play it, dude. I get excited every time I watch a Jason kill video.
Oh, the Jason kills are freaking crazy. Some of them
Yeah.
are awesome. I mean, the camera angles get a little funky sometimes, but the killing, like what they did a lot of work, and it was good.
You can tell that they genuinely love this game
Oh, you know
Yes.
it.
from the stuff they put in it, you know?
Now, for those of you who are listening who may have been living under a rock and don't know, this is a game that started off, I think, a year or so ago as a Kickstarter project
Yeah.
under the name Summer Camp Volume 1. It was meant to be a survival game where you are being chased by a killer,
Right.
and then you just have to survive the night. But it took all those tropes from movies like Friday the 13th and other,
Yeah.
slasher movies, and it was paying homage to them. Well, then they lucked out and got the license for Friday the 13th to make a genuine Friday the 13th game, and that's what led to this.
Right.
Now, if you were a Kickstarter or a Becker kit, you could buy up a couple of extra stuff, but they got their funding and then additional funding. They made their game. And from my perspective, where I'm sitting, I've only played on the PlayStation 4, but I have watched other people play on PC, played on Xbox. The game, when it first came out, it had a lot of trouble because you had server issues and stuff like that because everyone wanted to play it. It was exciting.
What game doesn't, you know?
Yeah, and for a game like this where you have at least 8 people playing, it was going to happen. I think
Right.
it was inevitable. No matter which console you're on, whatever format you're playing on, it was going to happen. I know that Xbox seems to be struggling more than PC and PS4. I don't know why, and I don't think they know either.
Right.
It's just the nature of it. Whatever that console is allowing or not allowing, it's been a hassle for them. I hate it because overall, in my experience, I think the game, especially if you're a fan, is
Yeah.
solid. It does have issues here and there, but I don't feel like it detracts from the overall experience.
It looks great. It looks like it's a lot of fun. Even the idea of it sounds fun.
And I haven't really got to play a lot with friends like I would like to because a lot of my friends, they have it on PC. But even getting to play with strangers, if you got a good group, you can really have a lot of fun. And despite what anyone may say, sure, playing as Jason is always going to be the fun part.
Yeah.
But it can be equally as fun playing as a counselor.
Yeah, like, okay, what is the premises? Okay, I know you have to survive the night or escape, right?
You, as a counselor, you have 20 minutes to survive.
Right.
In that time span, you can fix a car, which would require finding a battery, some gas, and keys.
Yeah.
And if you've got people helping you, if you've got groups helping you, everyone can go find these things. You can all work together to put it together and then escape together. There are 2 cars. You have a 2-seater car and you've got a 4-seater. So again, if you get everyone kind of chipping in, you'll all get there. And that's easy. That's fun. You can escape on a boat, which requires finding gas and a propeller for the boat. And it's much easier, but I also feel like it's harder to find the propeller for the boat.
Right.
And I've just actually stumbled upon it numerous times, not really looking for it. It's like, oh, there's a propeller. I can get out of here. You can call the police. If you can find a fuse for the fuse box to fix the phone line, then you can call the police. As soon as they are called, you have 5 minutes until they arrive. So you have 5 minutes to survive and then get to the exit in which they'll go to. Now, I assumed wrongly that there was one exit in which they come. So there was one match where I was sitting there waiting, and I was like, I'll crunch down here, and I'll be quiet, and the cops will come, and I'll get out. Well, the cops showed up, and they were on the other side of the camp. So I had to get up and go, hopefully, and survive. And I can't even remember if I survived that or not. But that was a pain because I thought, I've got this. I'm going to survive.
But that sounds fun.
Yeah, it really is. And the best match I ever played as a counselor and survived is I was playing one of the characters named Chad, who no one likes because Chad's a dick. And you even get a trophy for that if you are Chad and you escape, leaving everyone else behind. But I was playing. There was a Jason. He's trying to chase me down. I hid into a barn because I didn't know what else to do. I was just trying to hide, and I've never been one to hide. I like to get out there and actually do stuff. But I was kind of between a rock and a hard place. Couldn't find the phone. Couldn't find, people had already taken off and left me behind. So I was like, screw it. I'm going to hide off in this barn. So I put down a little bear trap, which is one of the, weapons you can get to hold Jason back to kind of give you some time. I put it next to a stable, where I was crunched down at, and I hid behind a window, just waiting. And he kept passing me several times until eventually he did find me. And I thought, okay, I got to get out of here. I'm going to die here pretty soon. But I was wasting as much time as I could, hoping to survive the night, and I luckily did. I outran this guy so many times, it made me feel so good because I survived 20 minutes against this guy with Chad.
That's awesome.
So that was very satisfying,
Yeah, I mean, what I like is the videos when you watch them. Like, you got people, they'll run in, they'll cut the radio on and hide under the bed. Jason comes in and you hear him just beating the hell out of the radio. And then they'll jump out the window, and if sometimes Jason already planned for that, so he set a trap outside the window.
Yeah.
Somebody gets hung in it.
And that's one of the biggest issues. If you're a counselor, if you don't pay attention to what he's doing, he can trap you because sometimes there's only the door and a window, and if you aren't prepared, you're going to get stuck.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it can be very intense. It can be, but it's very fun. Of course, obviously playing Jason, it's kind of a roulette system where if you're playing with 8 people, you're probably going to, unless you actually get to be the lucky one who gets to play him, first, you'll have to wait probably however many times, 1 in 8 odds to get Jason before you actually get to play him. But when you do, as long as you know what you're doing, it's Slaughter City. You know exactly where to go, track them down. But it can also be just as hard. Don't think that just because you're playing as Jason, you can slaughter everybody, no problem. It's challenging because some of these people are either very bad at playing or very good, and they can, set you up for traps. And some of them are actually really good at swinging their bats and their machetes and stuff like that. Yeah. So, it can be challenging.
Is it third person or first person?
Third person.
Third?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can't you kill Jason too? Ain't that one of the things
you
can
do now? But I've never done it. I've never.
I know it's not easy. It's not easy at all.
Yeah,
it takes some
but it's cool.
work.
It's a very long process. It takes. You have to find a sweater which belongs to his mother, so you actually have to find his little hideout. That's number one.
Isn't it different for each Jason, or is it in the same spot?
I think it's Now the map shifts and changes per match. So there was this one map that I actually figured out. I thought, aha, I know where his little hut is. So I went back there several times and it was there. And then one time I went there and it was gone. It was just a little camp. So they screwed with me on that. I thought I'd figured it out.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That they move everything around. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
because it's not the same each time.
I think if you studied the map enough to where you knew where everything was, it might get a little redundant, and then you could probably figure out how you were gonna get in and out of everywhere.
That's probably why it's still pretty popular right now. Still,
yeah,
it's
for sure.
Not the same match each time.
No,
because I guess really it is the same map, but they move everything around, so that's really cool.
Yeah. And I will say that's one of the cons is there's only 3 maps right now.
Right.
And that can get a little redundant. Kind of wish that there were more maps in which to play on because you've seen one camp. You know a few things that are different here and there, but you kind of wish there was a little bit more variety.
They could do the spaceship.
This spaceship I know has been one a lot of people have asked for, a Manhattan map, which I don't really know how that would work.
You just break down a block.
Just do the main strip, New York strip, just the main little...
just right there, just wide out and open. You can't get down alleyways. Maybe you can get down a little ways to hide.
Yeah.
You could screw yourself,
I guess it would be pretty cool.
They could make it work.
They could do it.
But Jason X, that'd be insane though, because he's freaking ridiculous in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the most requested skin at this moment is that one. Like they want to see that version. I don't really guess it's a skin per se. It would be another construction of Jason.
Right.
Because each Jason you can play, I think there are 6, 7 if you count the Savini Jason, which was again a Kickstarter only. If you're listening to this, I'm going to go off on a rant real quick. If you're listening to this and you didn't get that Tom Savini skin and you're bitter about it, too bad. You should have donated like everybody else at Kickstarter. It's never going to happen. Stop whining. That's what I've heard so much about that. It just aggravates me.
Me too. Because
That was the purpose of that, is to reward people who funded it from the beginning. If you bought it.
Well, I hope they never give it away or allow it to be sold.
Yeah.
I hope
If
they
they
don't.
do, I'll lose a lot of respect for them because it was a few bucks. And I understand people are like, well, I could pay a few bucks too. That's not the point.
No,
But
yeah.
you didn't do it
Absolutely not the point. Yeah. This is you believed in that game enough to give money to it before it even came out.
Right.
It's a reward for you.
Yeah.
Because you took a risk giving them the money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not many games that go from Kickstarter do that.
Yeah.
They eventually allow them to buy every piece of whatever downloadable content or costume. They allow it.
No, I get it in like 2 or 3 years when the game's not as popular. Maybe they throw it out there just to get a few more bucks or something. But right now, I mean, for the next year or two, or maybe less than that, I don't know.
I think
Just
they
keep
should
it
do
as
a
a-
30-minute flash sale, and that'd be the last time they ever did it.
And that's where a
Maybe.
lot of the animosity comes from, is where there was I think the day that they released the Savini skin, for everybody, like certifications were passed, somehow it wound up on the PlayStation Store for a little sliver
Yeah,
of time.
I remember that.
And people saw it and they were like, oh, so you've got all these people who tried buying it up.
Right.
I don't know if they got to keep it.
Yeah.
But that's from Xbox user side. I keep hearing that argument. Well, the PlayStation people, they got to get it, so why can't we?
Because it was a mistake.
Yeah, it was a mistake, and they keep blaming the developer, which again, the developer's done a lot for everybody. They just did
whole
a
lot.
free weekend, free skin, a retro Jason skin, all this stuff, just because there were issues. That's more than a lot of developers and game publishers will do.
They gave you a ton of credit points.
Yeah, I actually was able to get all my Jason kills at that point. Not for every Jason that that there is,
Right.
but I still have 2 to unlock. But I've got all the moves that I could want for those Jasons. Have it.
Man,
So
it's
now
pretty
I can focus on purchasing the moves for the ones that I have yet to unlock.
It's pretty cool that they do that because, most big developers, even like Rockstar, I used to play Grand Theft Auto Online all the time, and they had issues for a year.
Right.
The whole first year they had problems. And it took them a long time to just put something out there, be like, sorry for us being crap for the first year and a half. Here's this. Took a year and a half.
Yeah.
And they give you like a sorry.
But nobody said a word about it.
Nope.
But no, everybody, I keep saying everybody, mainly Xbox users. Yes, I'm targeting right now. Xbox users are being childish
They're being
right
real
now
petty about it.
because even when they did this free weekend thing, there was a skin that was supposed to come out on June 20th when it came out everywhere else, but it did not pass certification on Xbox.
So that's
And
a
they
Microsoft thing.
and it was a skin. It did not change anything but the color of the Jason.
Is that
and
the
it
NES
was-
Classic one?
Yeah, the NES Classic makes him purple and blue.
Right.
It's ugly as hell. I've never used it, but it was free stuff, and people got so bent out of shape. They did not pay for it. They didn't get any. They gave nothing. This was Gunn giving back, and they didn't say that they were never going to get it. They just said we're having trouble getting it through, but
Right.
you will get it. And they got so upset.
I read some of the
It's like when
comments.
Call of Duty switched from Xbox to PS4. That whole first, what was it? What was that first one that they did that for?
Oh, it was
Was
it Advanced Warfare?
Advanced Warfare?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, people lost their minds. That was like the big time professional COD players. They were like getting online saying they're done with it. They're not playing Call of Duty anymore because it's on PS4 and they've been playing Xbox since it came out. It's like, dude, it's been out
It's
for
a
both
month.
of them. If you're really that good as you say you are, switch to PS4. You should have
Well,
been
just
playing
wait
it the
a
whole time.
month. That's what I did. I just waited a month. You know
For
what I
real.
mean?
What does it matter?
Yeah, exactly. What does it matter?
It doesn't.
You're eventually going to get it. That's the whole thing.
It's a video game. As
Chill
much
out,
as I
guys.
love video games, it's a game.
Yes.
Calm down, people.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get all bent out of shape about that. No, I will get bent out of shape like if there's ever a game that I've played in its entirety, like the whole series, and then all of a sudden it goes to the console that I don't have, and I'll never have a chance to play it. Now that's a little something else. That sucks.
That's like not like this, but Metal Gear Solid when it was PS4 only or PlayStation only. I was a huge fan, but when it switched to Xbox and PlayStation, not so much a fan anymore.
Yeah, and
kind of made me mad. I was like, why would y'all do this?
You know the last one, I guess, was it Guns of the Patriot?
No, that was
No, I'm talking about the last one that was only on PS4,
PlayStation.
PlayStation.
Probably, maybe.
Yeah, I
don't
think
know.
that was it. That was what, Metal Gear 4.
Yeah.
And
That was
then,
when he was Old Snake.
and it was great. Looked
was
great.
pretty cool.
And the new one was great too. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah, I mean it was a lot different than any other one.
Yeah.
It was was it like an open world?
it was
Metal Gear
it was
Solid?
open world. It was fun.
It was. I still play
That
it
was
every
on
once in a
sale.
while.
I was kind of thinking about getting it.
Get it. You'll
It's
like
pretty
it.
cool.
It's complicated as hell at first.
Oh yeah, and it's if
But
you ever
every
played
Metal
any of the
Gear
other
Solid-
ones, it's way different because you only have two guns, and the other ones you could have 8 or 6 or whatever it was.
Yeah,
at one
and
time.
see, I've always struggled playing those games because I can get into them to a point and then I kind of lose interest. But if this one's different, yeah, I'll definitely give it a.
It's a completely different because after I don't even know, but after so long, you get your own base and you start putting resources into it and trying to making it better, and you get better crew and you get better stuff you can research.
Mhm.
It's very different than any other Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, and
Nice.
if you've played, what is it? What was that little prologue they put out for it?
Ground Zero.
Yes,
Yeah, Ground
I did
Zero. If
play
you've
that
played
one.
that,
Mhm.
then you have that save file.
Yeah.
It gives you extra stuff for your
Nice.
base.
Well, you gotta play through the entire game. You gotta find everything you find in Ground Zeroes. You go to the Phantom Pain.
Yeah.
And if you beat it, the developer, who's the developer?
Kojima.
Yeah, he's in it. You get him as a.
Yeah, I rescue him in
Yeah.
the Ground Zeroes.
If you rescue him in Ground Zeroes, you get him in the main game as one of your researchers.
Nice.
So you're
Dude,
get like
I
a
think
big
the
stat
funnest
boost.
thing in Metal Gear 5 is putting those balloons on people.
That's fun.
They just shoot. They're gone, dude. And I think they go to your base. Do they not go to your
Yeah,
base?
unless they die.
Yeah.
If they're hurt, if you shoot them with a regular bullet and they're hurt, there's a very good chance they won't make it.
Yeah.
But you eventually research some badass teleportations, like a black hole. So everything you put into it, it just goes straight there. Whether it's almost dead or not, you save it. So
Nice. Well, point being, we got a little off topic, but
Yeah.
no, Friday the 13th is a solid game.
Right.
Needs a little work for sure, but I don't feel like it ruins the overall experience. So I would recommend it, depending on whatever console or platform you have. Definitely get it. It's worth the money, and I think it'll be more worth the money as time goes on and they continue to patch it and make the work proper
Yeah.
for it.
it's not even like a big time game developer, is it?
No,
No,
it's not.
small
This is
time.
a very
So that's-
indie developer, right?
Well,
I'd
Adam
say-
Sessler had a big deal to do
Yeah,
with
he
it,
was
right?
I think he was a part of their marketing and management,
Yeah.
trying to really push the game out there.
He
So-
knows games. He might. Sometimes I think he's, his point he's trying to make is way off topic sometimes,
Mhm.
and he goes on a rant. But he
He loves
knows
video
games,
games.
man. I'm
He
sorry,
loves them.
he does.
He does.
Kane Hodder helped out with that too, right?
Yeah, he was the mocap for Jason. He did all
Yeah.
the moves and
Yeah,
everything.
he did.
Love
Yeah,
that
see-
guy, man.
yeah.
I think we met him at the Louisville convention.
Yeah, the Phantom Fest up there.
Yeah, and we went and sat and just there he is sitting in a corner, dude. Nobody's around him, and
Which
we
is
just go and we
ridiculous.
just start talking to him because we knew who he was. We'd seen him also in Nashville. He's there just about every year, and we start talking to him. He asked my wife. Well, actually, Steven told me. He said, "Ask." He told my wife. He said, "Ask him where his to show his tattoo." And he starts to undo his pants. He said, "No, I'm just kidding." And he pulls down his lip. He's got his inside of his lip tattooed. And the man is,
It says-
he likes to work out.
Mhm.
The man likes
Yeah,
to
he's
work
jacked,
out. Yeah,
dude.
he's jacked, dude. He
Look at-
is.
You see, his neck is
Yeah.
huge.
You can see it in Hatchet, man. I love those movies because it's kind of a throwback to the old monster with the creative way to kill him. What if they ever do a Hatchet skin for
That
Friday
would be
13th?
cool.
That would be awesome.
I know there are a lot of. I speaking of that, skins. I know that there's been rumors floating around of Bruce Campbell,
Yes.
Ash skins or something like that, characters, and I know people are like, "Oh, if you do that, you got to do Freddy." So but I think that gets into a lot of marketing
Wouldn't that
issues.
be for the counselors? Would you be Bruce Campbell?
That or Tommy Jarvis. I think it would be better if it was like a Tommy Jarvis type character.
Was he Tommy
Because
Jarvis?
Tommy Jarvis, no, I mean he didn't play that, but it would be good to have another character you can call in.
I know. I get what you're saying now,
Like
because that's who
Tommy
you got to
Jarvis.
call to kill Jason. You
Yeah,
got to call
well,
Tommy Jarvis.
If you
He's
happen
like an
to
extra
die,
life.
yeah, like if you happen to die or you escape and somebody's called him, you have an opportunity to be called back as Tommy.
Gotcha.
So
Kinda like an extra person to
yeah.
That's
So
what
if they
I'm
did something like that, it would be cool to mix in somebody like, yeah.
I
that would be
need
cool
to
if
get
they
rid of
could do it.
HughesNet. If you're listening, HughesNet, I'm not sorry for saying you suck, but
They do.
I got to get rid of them and get something good. Come on, internet, come to my house.
Yeah, we need better internet so we can all play together.
Yeah,
'cause
my
it'll be
internet's
fun.
down today for some reason. I called Charter and they're like, no answer.
It's Sunday. They're not answering the phone on Sunday.
Well, let's get on to our main topic.
A
We
great
wanted
debate.
to talk about crossplay. We mentioned it last week on E3 because it got brought up, but there's a lot of tidbits coming out about it, especially from Sony's side, and it's more about their reasoning not to want to do crossplay. And I know, Todd, you kind of made a mention that you felt like it was business related.
I do. I feel like it's nothing to do with crossplay. Because they do crossplay with PC.
Yeah, and
They
I
had
did
no
read that.
problem with that.
Mhm.
I think, well, like Jim Ryan was the one that's came out and said that it's they're not against it. I mean, they said right now there's no talk going on. That's what he knows. There's no open negotiation.
Right.
But when you listen to what he's saying, that it's a whole business thing that they didn't want to go into in the interview, and stakeholders have their say. So it sounds like they're talking to just a bigger group of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what it boils down to is for the Minecraft thing specifically. I don't know about the Rocket League or anything. Can't speak for that, but I know for the Minecraft thing, it looks like if you wanted to go into crossplay, you are going to have to buy a Xbox Live subscription. It's what it sounds like. I don't know. I don't even know if that's true or not. But I mean, that could very well be feasible. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So why, if you're Sony, would you take 60 million PSN users and hand them over to Xbox and give them all 60 million subscription users? You know what I mean? I think that's what it's going to boil down to. Now, and I think it's like, yeah, we'll let it be crossplay, but we're not going to, there's no subscription. And maybe Xbox says, no, there's got to be a subscription. They've got to pay to be on our network.
Now, why do you think that they are if you feel like it's from a Minecraft perspective, why not then do it for other games like Rocket League?
Well, see, Rocket League, I don't know how the servers would work. Like, Minecraft owns the servers for Minecraft, or Xbox. I said, Xbox owns Minecraft, so therefore they're going to be on their servers anyway.
Sure.
So that's where I see the problem there. Now for Rocket League, I don't know what servers they run off of. Maybe the people that own Rocket League, maybe Sonics, they own the servers. I don't know.
think they own their own servers.
Yeah,
so that's all theirs.
that would be on them. And
they're down for it. They've come out and said it multiple times. They're down for crossplay.
Right.
They're just waiting for everybody to agree
Right.
to it.
Yeah. So I think until there's a deal worked out with Sony and Microsoft that there don't need to be a subscription, and I'm just like, that's pure speculation on my part. I don't know that that's the problem. I just feel like that's the problem because it's all going to be run on Xbox Live, and you know how they are with Xbox Live. I mean, it's just until this generation
That
you could even use Netflix without paying for the Xbox Live subscription.
Yeah.
So I think that's the hidden problem.
It's got to be.
I don't know if y'all think anything different, but that's what I feel.
I mean, they're going to the Switch, and Switch ain't got nothing to lose.
Switch don't even have an online service, really.
Yeah.
So I think for them it's and they don't have that big of a stake in the, like if you got a pie and you got pieces cut out of how much each person owns, they're a very small part right now. So handing that subscription over there is not a big deal. But what it is hey, this is another feature for the Nintendo that, hey, Sony don't have this. You can't play Minecraft with all these people. So that's just a reason to buy that, because you can take that console with you. That's a smart move for them. Maybe it isn't a smart move for Sony right now until something is worked out.
If it is like a hidden subscription deal that you like a hidden fee you got to pay to play online with other consoles, I think they're smart saying no.
I think so too. I mean, because you are in a sense handing over your entire user base.
Or anybody that still plays Minecraft on PS4.
Yeah, I mean, my little girl plays it.
Yeah.
Every little girl plays it probably. I mean, I know 4 right now that play it. But
little kids, yeah, they love it.
4 out of 10 kids probably play it.
Yeah.
So, but you're talking millions and millions, tens of millions of people that would pay Minecraft. I mean, play Minecraft and pay for that Xbox subscription. And I don't. I mean, at first I was kind of pissed, and I thought maybe that was kind of an asshole-ish thing to do. You know, like, hey, you got these people, and you're always saying you're for the players. And I mean, this is still kind of not a for the players thing, but in the same sense is, well, this could cause us to have to shut the doors, you know, on something else that we're giving to the players.
And I think that's the running consensus right now is a lot of people are on the opinion that Sony's just being petty. Like,
right.
There's actually, I read a piece where someone thought that this was their way of, you know, kind of giving the middle finger to Microsoft. Like, you know, we're not going to play ball with you guys because, you know, you did this to us once before, so we're going to do it right back. Very childish move, if that is the case.
Yeah.
But I'm not really seeing much of an argument from them to speculate otherwise.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying that they are, but this just seems like smart business.
That's the only thing. Now, when you read the interview, it sounds like a lot of damage control. Like, oh, well, you know, we've got 60 million users. We're worried about their safety, and they're into an agreement. No, I don't buy that.
And even with that safety comment, somebody even used Nintendo because they said, well, think of the children.
Right. They're the safest one you can
think of the children. And they said, look at Nintendo, the most child-friendly console out there, and they're open to it. You can't give me that.
But that's where it goes back to how big of a stake do you have in all of this compared to 60 million users for Sony.
Mm-hmm.
Well, think about it, too, because the whole Rocket League thing, Sony's down for it, but Xbox isn't. Xbox is saying, like, nah, I don't know about this.
And I think it's
got to be the subscription thing. Like, they want some money to be able to crossplay. I think that's got to be it.
And I don't agree with that because you're already paying for subscriptions to be online through PS4, through Xbox. Like, just leave it at that, and I'm thinking like
being greedy,
right?
Stop being greedy,
right? And they're all businesses. We forget that sometimes because they do good things for us, and sometimes they do shitty things to us, you know, and we get pissed off. But we forget that they have to make money. They can't do anything for us if they don't make money. That's a dick move. If they're trying to charge everybody on PlayStation that wants to do the console crossplay with them on Minecraft. I don't like it. And maybe, you know, they said that they know there's no open talk right now. So lets me know that they did talk at one time. And maybe they said, hey, they're going to have to pay something. What, you know, like maybe Sony can come in and say, well, what if we pay this amount of money and would they just come in and play? You know, I don't know the situation, but I just really feel like that is what's holding everything up.
Well, I kind of wish that Sony would give us clearer answers versus these beat around the bush answers. Right. If it really comes down to a business issue that they can lose money or it's not financially feasible for them, just say so. Just say that we really don't feel like it's in our best interest right now from a financial standpoint to make this happen. If someone asks why, tell them why. Do not continue to go around in circles and make people speculate you're doing this for childish reasons. And I personally do not feel that they're being petty, but it's hard to think that they're not over something so that really seems like it would be a good business decision. If I had, let's assume for a moment, if I had all these consoles at my fingertips and Friday the 13th came out since we were talking about it, and I knew that a good majority of my friends were going to buy it on PC, and I could, but I chose to do it on PS4. That doesn't do me any good because I now just lost all my friends. I think in that instance, because crossplay doesn't exist, I should go with PC because that's what's a smarter move for me to play with my friends. Now, that granted, I didn't do that because that was not the case at the time. But if I knew that crossplay was, there for this game, it wouldn't matter. I would pick whichever one I know that I'm normally going to play on. Boom, there it is.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. The whole idea behind it sounds very smart for definitely any online game. It doesn't have to be every game.
No,
but any game like Rocket League or Minecraft, Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
These are games that are meant to be played online. That crossplay needs to happen for that. It really feels like it would benefit everyone in the long run if you could create a room and never have to worry about what console your friends have. You just have to have the game.
Well, I just think there'd be more stability. There would be a way for the games to stay populated because look at the average use. Like just look at what was that? No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
After the first week, it lost 10 million users, something like that.
Yeah.
That is that's like the pattern for an online only game. It's going to lose every week after it's released. It's going to lose some people until a year out. If it's not like Rocket League or like maybe Friday 13th still holds that playability like Rocket League does. There's still going to be less players at a certain point, and crossplay would make it would assure that it stays populated. I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I even feel like, granted, I'm not a computer geek as far as knowing how servers work, but I think there wouldn't it even be feasible to do multiple servers. You have a cross-play server, then PS4, Xbox, PC servers. That way, if you don't want to cross-play, you don't have to.
Yeah.
That seems like that would be something very feasible.
Yeah.
So that way you know that you can populate, and maybe you could even choose what server you're going to be on. Is it native to whatever console you're on, or do you want to go to the crossplay server and find your friends? And that could even be what it's for, is just to find your friends. Find those friends of yours who have it on a different console. Why not?
See, to me, Call of Duty would be one that doesn't really have to have crossplay. It stays populated all the time.
Yeah, it's one of those
to me,
big
it's not about
games.
playing with somebody on Xbox as much as it is getting into a game.
Yeah.
Because as long as I've played Call of Duty, I've had the same friends that I can play with. So I'm not worried about my other friend that has an Xbox because I can play with the same guys I've always played with. Now, if it ever got to the point where it dropped out, that's where you talk about the, combining everybody because it stays populated. It just sounds like a business decision to me. I mean, especially like you were talking about, why don't he come out and say it? He does kind of say it here. He says that it's unfortunately, it's a commercial decision between ourselves and other stakeholders, and I'm not going to get into the details of that particular instance. So right there, he's pretty much saying it's a business decision. Now, he doesn't give the details, but that's what...
Which does raise a question.
Yeah, it
But
raises
what
the question.
exactly? I don't know.
But he also goes on to say that we're not against having crossplay. But what I can tell you is there's no open line of communication right now, where there's no deal trying to be made at this moment.
And I think, as you mentioned before, one of you mentioned, they have done it. They're doing it now with a PC game.
I think they're doing it with Street Fighter 5.
Oh, they're doing it with Street Fighter and Rocket League. They're cross-playing with
there's no cross-play with PS4 on Rocket League. I just looked at it. It's right there.
PC and PS4, ain't it?
No.
Or DC Universe Online.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
DC Universe.
I thought there was another one that was mentioned.
That was a big one.
But there's no subscription. See, that's what leads me to believe that there is a subscription to this, because for PC there's no subscription. So
then why not tack that cost onto your Plus membership?
Yeah.
And make it a tier. If you want crossplay, you pay for it. If
that's
not,
a good idea.
Don't.
Yeah.
Things like that. There are a lot of little things that I would love to have, like they have PlayStation Now. If I don't really feel like I would ever pay for it, but maybe if it was part of my subscription, I might look into it.
$10 more a month.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Same with the Spotify use with your music. I love listening to the music as I play the games, but I'm not willing to pay for Spotify because I don't use it
Right.
very often. I got other subscription services I'd prefer to use.
Right.
So if they tacked it on, yeah, I'll pay for it.
Yeah, like, I don't know. So, okay, what does it cost? $9 a month for now?
Mm-hmm.
And I think is it $9 a month for the Spotify?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, tack on $10 extra for the whole year and give me those things.
Or whatever it takes. I mean, I know Amazon's a great example of that, because when they did their Prime membership, when they very first started it, I think it was a flat rate of $79 a year.
Right.
And that gets you free shipping, 2 days, for an entire year. Seemed kind of basic, but when you start adding up how much it would cost you in shipping, but now you don't have to limit how much you spend, it actually sounds like a better deal.
Right.
They're up to about $99 a year now, but you get Amazon Music Unlimited.
Mm-hmm.
You get their Amazon Prime Video, which is like Netflix.
Right.
You get all these Twitch Prime, so you don't have to pay for subscriptions on Twitch. And there's probably a lot more other, benefits to it that I just can't think of at the moment. But all those added benefits for $20 extra, and they continue to give more and more and more. That's what, if Sony could do something like that with their Plus membership, where they just tack on a little extra, but you get more in the long run, I will do it.
Right.
I will pay for it. If people are afraid of paying for it, then just
Have the regular tier.
yeah, this is all you get. You get a basic tier. But if you want to pay for all this extra stuff for a year, then do it. Because I feel like one payment for an entire year,
I'm fine.
I don't have to worry about it. That's why I do
Right.
PlayStation Plus. I don't care. $50,
Yeah.
$60 a month, or for a year, I'm
You're
done.
getting these free games.
Yeah.
2 games a month.
Yeah, and
And
if
you
you have a
guys-
Vita and a PS3, which I have both, my little girl still plays over at my mom's house, the PS3, that's 2 free games a month on there. I'm really ready for them to stop giving those games, since they're not even making a PS3 anymore. Really?
They don't even really advertise them anymore. If you
No.
notice their PlayStation Plus video, it's just like, here are the games you get free. This one and this one, PS4. And then
Right.
you have to go look up what the other free ones are.
Right.
So, and I'm curious, because sometimes you find something on the Vita,
Yeah, the
and
Vita,
I would
every
like
now and
to
again,
play
you
it.
find a little jewel, man. And I'm just ready for the PS3 to go away and maybe offer a VR game.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
I mean, I would get use out of that.
Because there's so many free VR games, they're cheap,
Yeah.
that I would want to try, but I just don't feel like putting the money down for
Right.
it. Why not? Just
Yep.
give me one free and let me try it out and see, like,
Yeah,
that's
just one.
pretty cool.
Just one.
Yeah. And that same argument goes for like the games for gold on Xbox. Anyone who complains about free games, you need to think about your priorities, because that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You don't have to play them. You don't have to get them. They're giving to you for free because you pay money.
Right.
You could probably get your value out of the entire year, if not more, for what they give you for free.
Yeah.
Stop complaining.
I mean, like, what, a couple of years ago, I think they added up to $1,100 on the PS4s, the PS Plus.
And think
membership.
about how many people are getting that. So I'm sure that skyrockets through the roof how much free stuff they gave to everybody
Right.
because of the money they paid outright.
Well, I think those indie developers, they said that was a better way to start than to just drop your game and hope for the best. You get paid up front.
Mm-hmm.
And then what it did is, when you later on, that game gets like put on PS Plus, and people might come up and then buy the downloadable content that you come out with, because they enjoyed that game so much. Otherwise, it would just go into the fold, and the downloadable content would come out, and you wouldn't even know it.
Yeah, Hotline Miami was a perfect example of where that benefited that developer from where I'm standing, because I wouldn't have given it a second thought. When I looked at it, I was like, I guess it looks kind of fun. But I finally tried it, played it, loved it, couldn't put it down. And when they announced part 2, I put my money forward to it because I enjoyed it so much. That was me saying to the developer, I'm not going to wait for this to be free. I'm going to pay for it now because I'm excited to play your game, because I enjoyed the first one so much. So yeah, doing that from an indie standpoint, it's a very smart idea.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I think we pretty much covered a lot of the cross-play stuff. I really don't know any other argument we could really make for it.
It's just something we don't know. It's something that it's got to be worked out behind closed doors.
And, for gamers especially, I really hope this becomes a reality, because it would be so awesome. I know that we all kind of have the same console, so it's really not a big, downer for us, but I know that there are plenty of people out there. I know a few of them are probably listening that I would love to play games with that have PCs and they don't really use their PlayStation as their primary. It would just be so nice to have that cross-play option to do that.
Yeah.
So, maybe Sony will get their game together and figure out what they need to do.
I think this is going to be they all have to get their game together in the end. Sony's holding it back because
they're holding it back from Minecraft.
Yeah, from Minecraft.
And
but
Rocket League, it's Xbox.
Minecraft could be the door opening to everybody. Well, right now, Xbox, PC, and Xbox and PC are cross-play on Rocket League.
They're the same thing.
So to me, I think that they are on their servers. It's Minecraft. I mean, Microsoft owns the servers.
Yeah.
Period. They got their own. I mean, they're Microsoft.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to bite the bullet and either talk out a deal to pay for us to play, and not worry about losing all of all the subscriptions, each individual a player paying for it, if there is a subscription. I don't know. I don't know. It's just I think Sony is trying to not protect us individually like our interest. They're in the business of trying to keep their fan base there, and I think that's what you're trying to do. It sucks for everybody, but it's going to have to be a group effort to get it together, I think.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to our retro review, guys. I have a game here that I'm curious to know if you ever played.
We don't know what it is. It's a secret.
Yeah. We're going back to the old NES.
Ooh.
And I'm sure both of you played NES
hard
at some point.
Not to age myself, but I did not grow up with an NES. That was a hand-me-down from my uncles.
You're embarrassing me.
Did either of you ever hear of a game called Faxanadu?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
No.
All right.
I don't think so.
Oh, let me break it down for you. This is a action role-playing game. It was released in 1987 by Hudson Soft. I think they were more popular for Adventure Island.
Yeah.
Games like that. This game was one of those that I feel like not a lot of people ever saw, or at least those casual game players who played Super Mario Brothers and whatnot. It starts off with an unknown traveler who's walking into this town, and it's part of a massive tree. The tree world, I think, is what they called it. I can't remember the exact name, or the life tree. I can't remember. The World Tree, that's it. The World Tree. Anyway, you're this unidentified wanderer. You have no idea who you are. You're just this guy who just happens to wander into town, who has apparently been on an adventure. And when he comes back, the town is in ruins. There's enemies about. The evil dwarves, as they're called, yet none of them look like the typical dwarf that you would imagine. But apparently your character is an elf, or is he an elf? Or at least he's helping the elves.
Right.
The town, or the Elven King, asked you to go help restore the life source to the World Tree, which is pretty much just unplugging the waterfall and getting it,
you
refreshing.
The waterfall.
In a manner of speaking, that's the way I'd kind of do it. But throughout the game, what I found interesting to it, the combat can be a little iffy. And even the controls are a little iffy.
Right.
But what was fun about it for me, you had your magic bar and your health bar. Every town that you go into, you could upgrade your equipment. And I think at the time this was not very unique, or this was not common, I guess I meant to say. So every town you find out, there's a sword or a shield or armor that you can get, and every time you get farther and farther into the game, your look changes because you're getting all this new armor and all this stuff to get you through. So if you happen to make your way back, which is another interesting thing that you can do in this game, which I don't think a lot of games at the time would allow you to do, is if you got to the end of the game before you beat it, you could make your way back to the beginning, with all your new armor and everything. And I don't think a lot of games really allowed that. It might take you a little while to get there, but you can go all the way back and forth through it, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Because a lot of games it was side scrolling, you were stuck there, that was it.
Right.
And this, it had that very unique role playing element where if you needed money or you needed experience to get you to wherever you needed to go, You just fight, and you could stay right outside the town that you're in, and then go back in to get your armor and stuff like that if you needed it. And even the experience system in here, I think it got up to a certain. I don't think they really leveled you up by number, but it was by rank. So I think you start off as an amateur, and then your next is a novice, and then so on and so forth. And by the time I think you get to the final level, you're a legendary. But it doesn't really tell you what it does stat-wise, but you do get stronger.
Right.
So it's kind of neat.
What I liked about the mode, the NES, was that it was actual, like, when you play a game, you played a game. Like, you couldn't go back to where you were. You had to start from the beginning and to end, because if you ever turned it off, you got to start from scratch.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you could save your game if you held reset.
If you held reset?
Yeah.
Now with this game, they didn't have the save files like you did in Legend of Zelda.
Super Nintendo, yeah, that's when it first started coming in.
I know that a lot of us who played old NES games, we would remember are the passwords.
Yes.
Yeah.
Passwords is what this was, and it was this. They called them mantras, but it was this long stretch of letters and numbers and symbols, and like, my goodness, what is this? Because even in Mega Man, it was like a little grid that showed dots.
Super easy.
This is a long password of letters and numbers, and you had to make sure it was uppercase, lowercase, all this other stuff, and jotting it down was ridiculous.
I can still
you know how many times I've had games like that where a password, you put it in, took a picture, wrote it down, and it didn't work, and you just said, I'm done.
Yeah, you're just like, well, I don't know what I did wrong. I'm putting it in. This is how I wrote it down.
Yeah. 007-373-5963 is how to get to Mike Tyson from the screen.
That's right. Outside of that, your mantra, you would get it from a guru, and he would always say, you need peace of mind. Let's meditate, and then you'd get your mantra. A lot of the enemies in there, I can't remember a lot of them, but I remember, I guess the reason I bring this up is this game actually affected me, I guess, on a very personal level for whatever reason, because this became a model for a lot of stories and things that I did as a kid, whether it be weapon designs or creature. I know that the last boss in this game I actually designed as a boss for one of my characters, Steven's Wacky Maze.
Steven's Wacky Maze.
Because I saw it on your face, you wanted to hear it. But, he was the big boss in that. Was the big boss from this. Clearly ripped off. The main blade in that same story I took from a blade from this game that was I can't remember what they called it in here, but it was like a pitchfork style blade because it had 3 prongs at the top. Yeah. But I like that design for whatever reason. I just enjoyed it. So I took a lot of, I stole a lot from this game. Let's just put it that way.
He didn't date a lot.
No, I did not. Sorry. First real girlfriend was in 8th grade. Of course, I had a girlfriend in 4th grade. See, there was a gap.
I held a girl's hand in 3rd grade. That was awesome back then.
We're not going to get into our love lives because we're not going to do that.
Man. I want to get my mantra on.
Get your mantra. But no, this is definitely one that I enjoyed. Even the music in the game kind of sticks with me. If I hear it, I'm like, oh, I know that. You might not. It's not common amongst most people, but right. I think it's one that got overlooked. I know that Nintendo put it on their Virtual Console on the Wii. I really hope that it gets more of a following, and later on, by chance. But yeah, guys, if you ever get a chance to play Faxanadu, I would highly recommend it.
I remember this game just when, back in the day when you went to Walmart or just KB Toys or whatever. It was always right behind the cash register. They had maybe 20 games hanging up right there, and that's all the games they had at that time. And you would go and you didn't know a damn thing about any one of these games. You would just look at the box art, and the box art was so cool back then, And that's how you knew if you wanted to buy a game. I still remember when I bought Mario Brothers, because later on it came with the actual Nintendo. Mm-hmm. When I got my Nintendo, it didn't come with, I think it came with Duck Hunt. And that was it. Duck Hunt and Gyromite, because I had the robot. You remember the robot,
Rob?
Yeah. So I go and I get Mario Brothers, and the lady tells me, she goes, "This game is really hard." I'm like, I don't give a damn. I got $37. I'll put the game in the basket and nobody gets hurt. I'm like, come on, lady, you were 80 years old, gonna tell me how to play a video game?
This game is very hard.
Man,
It's amazing she knew that.
she didn't know that game wasn't hard. But that was the beauty part about games back then. Like, you would buy the game and you would go to school the next day. Because I remember when I got the game, I remember I played that first level and got to the underworld, and it was late at night when I got home. It was probably like 9:30 for a 7 or 8 year old, and I remember the music, it scared the hell out of me. I cut the game off. I remember going to school, and the whole day I wanted to be back playing Mario Brothers, and you just get to start talking to your friends. You're just like, have you ever played Super Mario Brothers? And at this point, nobody's played it yet, but a few people have. But that's how you did games back then, and you didn't have the internet. You had
Nintendo.
You didn't even have
That's the
Nintendo
only
Power.
thing.
You didn't even have Nintendo Power then.
Yeah, because nobody.
This is a few.
yeah.
This was a few years later. Before Nintendo Power, they had one, just a thick Nintendo guide that came out that had the Legend of Zelda map in it. It said something about Mario Brothers. Had a couple of levels. Didn't have the whole game. It had a number. I remember you called the Nintendo hotline.
Yeah.
And you talked to the professionals. Ronnie at work, he sent me a video of the news clip where it was Mario Brothers, talking about how Mario Brothers was really bringing Nintendo into the forefront, and they were hoping to have 4 in 10 consoles in everybody's house or something like that. Something like that. 4 out of 10 houses would have a Nintendo console or something. But it was talking about the professionals. They would sit there and they would play all these games all day, and they were just tons of them. They're out of work now. They probably opened up, no lie, like a lot of them probably went and opened up like IGN and stuff like that. I don't know for sure. I'm just saying that. But they probably went on to do stuff like that because that started getting, branching out. It became a big thing. But I miss those days, like that wonderment of going to Walmart and not having a clue which game did what. I mean, you might really fork down some money and buy a steaming pile of shit. Literally.
Yeah,
I did
there are
that
tons of
before.
them.
I bought Stinger. That game sucked. Do you remember that game?
Yeah, I remember it. I think that was you talking about the art on video games. I'm sure we can all remember the art box for Mega Man.
Yeah.
Was terrible. It was just I don't even know what that was. It was not representative of the game at all.
No. Metal Gear was awesome, but it did not represent the game at all either.
What about Wizards and Warriors 2, where it had Fabio?
Yeah, swinging the sword.
That was
He
so
wasn't even in the damn
so
game,
wrong because it did not look like that at all. Man had a suit of armor. And he's standing out there like Conan,
butt naked with some fur drawers on, swinging a sword.
Hey man, Fabio was hot back in the day. I don't know if they were trying to get the ladies to play.
I
Fabio
guess.
got hit with a pigeon in the face on a roller coaster.
But yeah, we'll definitely get into more of those. I can think of a few others I want to discuss. But
Yeah,
we'll
I've
save
got
them for
one,
another day.
Donkey Kong,
Yeah, because no one's played Donkey Kong.
Nobody. That's I've never heard of that.
You
Still
have it.
make
Oh, you
those?
got to check it out. It's on this new thing called an arcade.
Really?
Yeah, it's like there's this
What's an arcade?
It's this place. It's wonderful, man. It's just you have to have a bunch of quarters.
What are quarters?
You're embarrassing me, John. God, why did we ever ask him to be one of the Super Mega
You
Crash
did.
Brothers?
Well, guys, I think that's got us wrapped up. I can't really think of anything else to discuss.
No.
We got our reviews. We got our topic. Anything you guys want to add to anything?
No. Just if you're listening, thank you.
Yeah.
Keep listening. Keep helping us out.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
absolutely. We're this episode will be featured on our brand new formatting site, Podbean. We are off SoundCloud, but we'll still be on Google Play and iTunes. But this seemed like it was the best move for us logistically for now. So if you're listening, if you're new to the show through Podbean, hey, thank you very much for joining us and giving a listen. Be sure to check us out on Patreon at www.patreon.com/pencilpaperproductions if you want to throw us a little green and help us out.
Or some silver.
Or some silver, if you want to donate a quarter. Hey,
Rupees.
I'm not going to stop you. every little bit helps. That's what they say.
Yeah.
But no, we do appreciate anyone who's listening. Follow us on Facebook.
Yeah. Start
and,
a topic.
Start a topic. Tell us what you want us to talk about. If there's a game, if there's an old retro game you want us to talk about, we will definitely listen. We will discuss your game.
If there's a topic you want us to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything that you want us to discuss, we will bring up, and we'll even credit you to the question.
Please put a question on there to ask John.
Yeah.
We'll start a new segment called Ask John.
It can be anything, just anything crazy. I don't care if it's how do you make eggs.
I'll tell you how to make some mean eggs.
You don't know how to make eggs.
I don't, but I will tell you how to do it.
Tell us how to work out.
You'll have salmonella by the end of the day, I guarantee it.
Tell everybody how to work out.
I'm talking about workout.
You need to learn how to work out.
Ask John. We'll
John.
start a whole new segment if you guys want to chime in. Well, thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.